Hello, and welcome to another Let's Play. Care to take a guess what the game is? That's right, Spyro the Dragon. Nah, it's Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy, a 2001 platform collectathon game released for the PlayStation 2 and developed by Naughty Dog. It cribs inspiration from a variety of games, most obviously Super Mario 64, though it's more in the vein of game design that was pioneered by Banjo-Kazooie. Following similar collectathon gameplay, but with singular level hubs that are unbroken by being thrown out of the level when you complete an objective. Jak and Daxter is also notable for having a very seamless-seeming game world, with any load times masked through clever ways using in-game cutscenes rendered in engine. Very cool stuff, very cool stuff. It's actually an incredibly good-looking game for the time it was released in. And, of course, in my standard fare of being as completionist as possible, we'll be going through the entire game, 100%ing it, talking to all the NPCs, getting all the collectibles, all that good stuff. As is standard for most games released around the era of CD becoming the standard format, Jak and Daxter starts with a lengthy cutscene, so let's get that underway.
I have spent my life searching for the answers that my father and my father's fathers failed to find. Who were the Precursors? Why did they create the vast monoliths that litter our planet? How did they harness eco, the life energy of the world? What was their purpose? And why did they vanish? I have asked the plants, but they do not remember. The plants have asked the rocks, but the rocks do not recall. Even the rocks do not recall. Every bone in my body tells me that the answers rest on the shoulders of a young boy. Oblivious to his destiny, uninterested in the search for truth, and rejecting of my guidance. And why would he want to listen to old Samus the Sage anyway? I'm only the master of green eco, one of the wisest men on the planet. So it seems the answer begins not with careful research or sensible thinking. Nay, as with many of fate's mysteries, it begins with but a small act of disobedience.
Hey! Jak, old green stuff told us not to come here.
Continue your search for artifacts and eco. If the locals possess precursor items, you know what to do.
Deal harshly with anybody who strays from the village. We will attack it in due time.
What are we doing here anyway, Jak? This place gives me the creeps. Huh? Oh, stupid precursor junk. Eek! What is that dark ooze? It sure don't look friendly. The sage yaps on about the precursors that built this place all the time. Where did they go? Why did they build this crud? Now, I like precursor orbs and power cells as much as the next guy. But if you ask me, they must have been real losers. Wow! How did you do that? I think we're in trouble! Man, that stung! I told you we shouldn't have come here, and you listened! What? Okay. I'm fine.
What in green green tarnation do you two want?
I was...
Don't tell me! Instead of heeding my wisdom, the two of you went mucking around in the only place that I told you not to go. Misty Island.
That's right, and then...
And, Daxter, you finally took a much-needed bath, but in a bathtub filled with dark eco.
Look, old man, are you gonna keep yapping, or are you gonna help me out of this mess?
I'm gonna keep yapping, because in my professional opinion, the change is an improvement. And besides, I couldn't help you if I wanted to.
What?
There's only one person who has studied Dark Eco long enough to have a chance at returning you to your previous form. Carl Acheron, the Sage. But he lives far to the north. Far, far to the north. Nobody has spoken to him in ages. I would teleport you there, but I can't do that either. None of the three sages that maintain the other teleporter gates have seen fit to turn their ends on for quite a while. The only other way north is by foot through the Fire Canyon, but its volcanic soil is hot enough to melt precursor metal. You can't just walk through it.
But you could fly over it, if you had a zoomer equipped with a heat shield. I just happen to be working on such a thing at this very moment. All I would need is 20 power cells to give it enough energy to withstand the canyon's heat. Isn't that right, Daddy?
Yes, Kira, that might work. But where are a boy and a half going to get 20 power cells?
From the villagers. Most of them have a power cell or two stashed away somewhere. And even if they aren't willing to just give them away, greasing their palms with a few precursor orbs should do the trick. And I bet there are even more of them out in the wilds just waiting for some brave adventurer to find.
Well, we've got the brave adventurer at least.
Brave adventurer? You two couldn't find your way out of the village without training. Before you do anything else, you better go through the warp gate and get some practice on Geyser Rock.
We won't find any more of that dark gooey eco stuff, will we? 'Cause I'd hate to fall in again and turn into you.
Get in there before I turn you both into ferns.
Alright, now we actually have the ability to play the game. Quite a lot to take in there. As you saw, Jak and his buddy Daxter, as young boys are wont to do, they defy the words of the green eco-sage Samus, and decide to go out to the Misty Island, where they see some nefarious-looking characters who seem to be planning an attack on their village.
The communicator. With it, my father and I can give you advice at any time during your quest.
Daxter wants to be turned back into normal after falling into a vat of goop that is known as Dark Eco, and it turned him into an Otzel, halfway between an otter and a weasel. Honestly, I kind of agree with Samus in that I think this was a bit of an appearance improvement for him. He was not exactly a looker beforehand. Unfortunately, the only one who has a chance of turning him back is Gull, the sage, one of the sages of the islands, presumably of a different type of eco than Samus, the green eco sage, but he is past the Fire Canyon, or was the Fire Valley. I wasn't paying that much attention. It's an area we need to cross in a hoverbike known as a zoomer, but it's too hot, so we need to get power cells in order to power its heat shield, so that we can get through it. And to that end, we are taken to Geyser Rock, our tutorial area, where we can familiarize ourselves with the controls and get a feel for the basic mechanics of the game. As you can see, Jak has a spin attack, much like Naughty Dog's own Crash Bandicoot series of the time, and the spin attack has more that it can do than just breaking stuff for us and also breaking faces. If used in the air, it'll actually slightly extend Jak's height, as well as delay his fall, so it's an important platforming tool. Jak also has the standard tools of jumping, double jumping. One thing to know is that when you double jump, it pretty heavily impedes your forward momentum, so you always want to make sure to delay it for as long as possible to get the most out of your forward momentum on your first jump. But be careful, if you fall too far, your double jump gets disabled. Little complexities to these systems here. Here we've got precursor orbs.
These floating egg-shaped things are precursor orbs. Collect enough of them, and some of the villagers will give you a power cell in exchange.
As helpfully explained by Kira, Jak's gadgeteer friend and Samus's daughter. We collect these, and we can exchange them for power cells. Power cells are the main collectibles of Jak and Daxter, much like Jiggies from Banjo-Kazooie, or of course Stars from Super Mario 64. We've also got these little dummies here that we can test out our moves. In addition to a spin attack, with the square button, we can lunge forward with a nice punch. Also, we have an uppercut. By crouching, we can do the uppercut. We can also roll and then roll into an uppercut, although that's a limitedly useful move in my opinion. Though there are some tricks you can do with it when it comes to platforming. Other than that, we have a ground pound by just jumping into the air and pressing the square button. Pretty cool, pretty cool. You can also chain ground pounds together if you get enough height off the first one. I'm not doing that properly, though. Yeah, not working out. But I'll have a chance to show it off later.
This is a power cell, the most important precursor artifact you can find. You need to collect 20 of these so I can power the heat shield for your A-grab zoomer.
Thank you, Kira. That is the goal for now. We cannot leave Geyser Rock until we collect all 4 power cells available here. And, of course, as is obligatory, you get a little dance whenever you collect a power cell, like you would a Jiggy or a Star. And over here, a chance to actually use our uppercut. The uppercut is actually used pretty sparingly. In fact, there's only one objective in the game I can think of offhand where you actually need to use it. Over here, we've got these boxes here.
Sometimes you'll want to hit things with a greater force. To break one of these boxes, you should jump in the air and then dive down onto it, hands first.
Same as giving us incentive to use the ground pound.
You found one of my scout flies. I sent 7 of them to each area to look for power cells, but the lurkers must have captured them all.
Subbing in for Jinjos and red coins are scout flies. They'll be found in these crates that we need to blast with the ground pound in order to free them. Though there is one other way you can break open these crates that we'll be seeing later. For right now, all these crates though can be ground pounded. When all 7 scout flies are collected, we will of course get a power cell. Looks like they were just scouting the area for them and happened to get trapped in the process. Strange. Wonder how that could have happened. You, of course, got a variety of dances here. Note that the communicator popping up is actually tied...
Oh, that last scout fly had a power cell. I'll bet if you collect all 7 in each area, you can find even more power cells.
Thank you, Kira, for explaining gameplay mechanics, but note that those communicator sequences are actually tied to an option in the game menus. If you do not want to hear those pop up, you can turn off gameplay hints in the menu, though this turns off most stage banter, and it actually, funnily enough, makes certain objectives difficult to know when you've completed them, because it also disables the dialogue that tells you when you've completed them. Anyways...
Blue Eco, which contains the energy of motion. Blue Eco allows you to run fast, break boxes, and even activate some precursor artifacts when you get near them.
So, yes, we have a major thing of Jak and Daxter. You probably noticed those little green orbs that I was picking up. That was green eco. That is basically Jak's health. You have 3 large globs of green eco to start with, and 50 small globs of green eco will give you 1 large glob. If you collect 50 green eco while you already have 3 large globs, you'll get an extra hit point. Jak and Daxter has a surprisingly restrictive health system, but it is one of the earlier platformers to ditch the concept of a live system, so it's not too big a deal when you die in this game. All that you lose is a little bit of time, and sometimes not even that due to some awkward checkpoint placement. Also note that we have Blue Eco here. Blue Eco causes you to run faster.
Blue Eco cluster you pick up increases the time you can use its power.
Thank you, Samos. But Blue Eco makes you run faster, as well as breaks boxes when you come near them, and also draws in objects. And as we collect more Blue Eco, our time in Blue Eco extends. Very helpful, though many times it's specifically placed so that you can make situational use of it. Over here are some very easy to miss precursor orbs. Be sure to drop down here so that you can grab them. And now with that taken care of, we can finally get into something I've been meaning to mention for a while. When you roll, you can do a long jump. As you can see, the long jump clears quite a bit of distance and moves very quickly. But you have no control over your horizontal movement when long jumping. You can only go forward with it. So, as you can see, I'm locked into it when I do it.
This is a precursor door. It can only be opened by approaching the door while channeling Blue Eco through your body.
And yes, we will need Blue Eco to open up this door. Now, we could run back and collect those globs of Blue Eco that we grabbed before, but if you'll notice over here...
That's a Blue Eco vent. More more concentrated than the floating clusters. This vent will give you a full charge of blue eco, letting you use it for the maximum time.
Thank you, Kira, saves me the trouble. But yes, a blue eco vent powers us up fully and allows us plenty of time to get to this door over here. Though it is possible with the blue eco globs from before, if you move quickly enough, to power up the door that way. We wanted to head towards the blue eco vent to grab those precursor orbs, though, so it's definitely worth our time, or rather, not...
Good work. The blue eco caused the door to open. With blue eco, you can breathe energy into all kinds of precursor artifacts that have lain dormant for years.
Thank you, Samus. Actually, I'm gonna dive back into the water here. You can swim in Jak and Daxter, and you can jump out, as you, kind of improbably can do in platforming games. But there is one little mechanic to know about swimming. By holding the square button, you can submerge Jak. Very rarely, you'll find stuff underneath the water's surface, and you'll want to be able to dive to either interact with it or collect it if it's precursor orbs. Over here, we just got some rudimentary jumping. I already grabbed the precursor orbs up here, so we can continue on our way.
Those little green balls of energy on the ground are a type of eco. Pick up 50 small green ecos, or one big green one to increase your health.
Samus, you're so far behind. I've already been over that. Note that you can complete this starting level much more quickly if you turn off the play hints, because it also disables those cutscenes right there. One little thing is that Jak's spin attack actually extends his collection hitbox out a little bit more, so you can collect things without having to walk directly into them. Here's one really cool mechanic.
Jump once, then jump again in the air to reach even higher ledges.
Samos, I've played a game before. I know how to double jump, but I want to show off this. When you land a roll jump, you can actually immediately go into a high jump. Normally, you have to crouch and then jump to get a high jump. High jump has more vertical distance than a double jump, though obviously it has very, very little forward momentum because you have to come to a stop to use it. Doing a roll jump into a high jump obviously circumvents that problem.
Jump once, then jump again in the air to reach even higher ledges.
Dude, you're repeating yourself. Samos, are we gonna have to take you to the retirement home? Anyway, over here is the last power cell. Also another glob of blue eco and a very conspicuous platform over there. So, we grab the blue eco, and it powers the platform, taking us back to the start. You, of course, can drop down, but note that if you fall certain distances in Jak and Daxter, you will take fall damage. Only one big glob of green eco, though. Note that after falling enough, your spin attack will be disabled, but you can time it so that you're still able to prevent fall damage from happening by slowing your descent with a spin attack. So keep that in mind. Very rarely should you have to worry about fall damage in this game.
You found all of the power cells on the island. Come back to the warp gate so I can bring you back to the lab. Hurry up!
Once all 4 power cells are collected, Samos will now allow you to leave Geyser Rock. So we just hit the switch over here and activate the teleporter. Interact with it with the circle button, and then press again to warp back to the Green Sage's hut.
Good training, boys. But that's nothing compared to the challenges that lie ahead.
Then no problem. We got the moves, eh, Jak? We'd love to stay and chat, Big Green, but we're, itching to get on with our adventures.
Fine, fine. Adventure away, then. And while you're out adventuring, why don't you make yourself useful? My darn green eco-collectors are clogged up again. Head out to the far side of the beach and clear them out, why don't you? Follow the lamps. They'll take you right there. Now, all of you, get out of here!
And with that, Samos rather conspicuously guides us to our first tutorial level, which we won't be going to next time, because there's actually quite a bit to do in the hub level, Sandover Village, where we start the game, and plenty of NPCs to talk to, which will take up a bit of time on its own, so I think that's worth dedicating its own video to. Afterwards, we won't be going to Sentinel Beach, because we actually cannot fully complete it on our first trip there. Instead, you see that little rotating thing over there? We want to head there. That is the Forbidden Jungle. That's the first real level we're going to be going to. However, like I said, Sandover Village itself is something of a level onto itself, even though it is more or less just a hub area, and that's what we're going to be checking out next time. We've got plenty of people to talk to, plenty of quests to initiate, and plenty of power cells to collect. Look forward to it. As always, I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope to see you next time. Until then, though,
I don't dispute the doubts you've outlined, but it's my right to waste your time.